Hello students, I welcome all of you in our chapter heat. Today we will discuss the topic what is meant by humidity. We always discuss those parameters when we watching the cricket match on either countries. We always the parameter which are affecting the atmospheric weather. The humidity is one of the parameter which always discuss at that time. And after that, what is mean by dew point of a temperature? Dew point of a temperature. What is mean by dew point? A particular temperature. Okay, we will discuss those things. After that, absolute humidity. Absolute humidity, and relative humidity are the different things. Okay, what is mean by humidity is the one of them. But what is meant by the absolute humidity? Okay, absolute humidity, and after that, what is meant by relative humidity? These are the concept relating with the humidity. After that, the units of heat. So heat is some sort of energy, and we have to measure the heat in SI system and as well as a CGS system. So we have to discuss about the heat, and we have to define these units. Okay, after that, a specific heat capacity. Even though we have provided some sort of some amount of heat energy to the substance of any material, how much it gains, that means the substance gains, is quite different. And this phenomenon we have to study it in a specific heat capacity. Okay, so we have to start with humidity. We have already seen in this chapter there are a lot of points are there. Regulation is there, anomalous behavior is there. After that, there is a latent heat of vaporization, latent heat of fusion is there. So these things we have already studied, and we have to see the humidity. In our chapter on page number 66, they have been briefly discussed about the atmosphere. We know that on the surface of Earth, the surface of Earth is occupied by 71% of water. Okay, and obviously 29% of the land. Okay, so 71% of the water is covered. The whole Earth is covered with the 71% of water. Okay, we see the lot of sea, oceans are there, and these are covered with water. So sun, the main source of our energy is sun, and due to its heating, solar energy, there is evaporation of water. Evaporation is taking place, and due to this, there is vaporization. After that, the water vapor is mixed with the atmospheric air. Okay, the atmospheric air, and due to the presence of atmospheric water vapor in atmospheric air, the air becomes moist. Okay, the air becomes moist, and this due to the, if we found the moisture in the air, if we found the moisture in the air and in the atmosphere, and it is called humidity. So that if we find the moisture in the air, they have been shown the moisture in the atmosphere is called humidity. Moisture means there are some sort of water vapor which is the presence of water vapor in the air. Okay, the presence of water vapor in the air. So what is why the water vapor is present in the air? Due to the evaporation. And why evaporation taking place? Due to heat energy by solar. We know that here is Earth. Okay, and here is the sun, and it's solar energy. Due to solar energy, the amount of we already seen that the 71% of water is there, and due to that, when this solar energy is incident on a water molecule on a surface of water, it gains energy, and there is a transition state is there. That means it can convert the liquid state into vapor state. gas state, that is vapor state, and due to that there is we have to find out water vapor. It is converted, this water is converted into vapor vapor. Okay, this water is converted into water vapor there, and this water vapor is contained in the air, and so that it becomes moist. This air becomes moist, and this is called a humidity. Okay, and this is called a humidity. So we have the moisture in the atmosphere is called a humidity. After that we have to study about dew point of a temperature. Dew point of a temperature. Okay, so dew point of a temperature, before studying those things or stated this statement about dew point of a temperature, we have to discuss the information regarding with the dew point. We know that in our book we have given that a given volume of air at a specific temperature, there is a limit of how much water vapor is contained. Water vapor can contain. Okay, for a particular volume of air at a particular temperature, how much amount of water vapor is contained, which is inhaled, that means some sort of dissolved in this air, in that air of a particular value, of a unit value at a unit temperature. Because if a temperature changes, the capacity of holding the water vapor is also changes. So that at a constant temperature, what you have to do, we have taken a air. Okay, they have shown that a given volume of air for a specific temperature, there is a limit of how much water vapor is contained in that air. Okay, in that air, the amount exceeds the limit. If the amount exceeds the limit, then we can say that the amount exceeds the limit, that the excess vapor converts it into water droplets. Okay, there are certain limit of containing water vapor in a certain volume at a certain temperature. But if the water vapor which is contained in air is greater than a further limit, is greater than a certain limit, then there would be it converted into, its condensation is taking place, and they are formed on the surface of an object or any other thing. In the form, it is converted into water droplets. Water droplets are there. They have told those things, water droplets, where air contains a maximum possible water vapor. When air contains a maximum possible water vapor, then we can say that this air is saturated. It is said that the saturated water vapor at the temperature, at particular temperature, at fixed temperature, this air is saturated with the water vapor. Okay, at a certain temperature. If temperature is increased, their capacity of containing water vapor is increased. If temperature is decreased, they containing the water vapor, their tolerance, some sort of a tolerance is there, their absorbing power is there. At a certain, they can sustain the air. They are sustaining this water vapor in that particular air. Okay, so at a particular temperature, their capacity of holding water vapor is different for different temperatures, and for a particular temperature, for a particular volume of unit volume, the capacity of air of a containing water vapor, so that it can hold this water vapor without any condensation, and it becomes saturated. The saturation is taking place if we add more vapor if we add or due to the atmospheric parameter, if there is increase in the water vapor in the air, so water is the air is saturated. Air is saturated to contain this water vapor inside it, and due to that there is condensation is taking place, and due to this condensation we can see on any surface, on a grass or leaves, on a glass. Okay, grass is a different one. Glass, on a glass of our panels, we can easily see on the surface of car metallic body, we can easily see the droplets of water, and it happens when the temperature is lowered. When temperature is higher, the capacity of holding, containing the water vapor is increased. If temperature is lowered or temperature is decreased, then water vapor holding capacity of air is lowered. Okay, it becomes lowered, so that it's saturated. Saturation means how much amount of water vapor it can sustain, it can be hold. Okay, so that there is no condensation is taking place. Okay, so it becomes saturated by that particular amount of air, that water vapor. So another thing is that dew point of a temperature. They have given some example. The amount of water vapor needed to saturate the air depends upon the temperature of air. The amount of water vapor needed to saturate the air. The amount of water vapor is needed to saturate the air. It depends upon the temperature. Okay, to saturate the air, the temperature is also one of the parameter. Okay, one of the parameter which can decide whether it can be condensation taking place or whether it can saturate this air. Okay, it can containing in that particular temperature this air is involved in it. So they have given one example that at the temperature, they have given some example regarding with it. They have been given some example that if temperature of air is 40 degree, if temperature of air is 40 degree, okay, the air temperature is 40 degree at that time. We can see that what we have to see, they have told us that we can see that 49 grams of water vapor per kilogram of a dry air without condensation. 49 gram of water vapor will be contained. It's contained. Okay, per kilogram of air. Okay, they have written that if air temperature is low, it will need less vapor to saturate air. If temperature is decreased, less vapor is needed to saturate the air. If temperature is increased, the amount of water vapor is contained in air is in a larger quantities. It is in larger quantities. For that they have two stages they have given, two temperatures. One of them is 40 degree. At 40 degrees Celsius, they can contain 49 gram of a water vapor. Okay, per kilogram of a air of unit volume. Okay. Another one, if temperature of air is 40 degrees Celsius, it can contain 49 gram of a water vapor per kilogram of a dry air without condensation. Of a dry air without condensation means there is no condensation, means condensation is not taking place in that situation, means there is no saturation stage is happened there. No saturation stage is there. So it can tolerate, it can contain the air of a 1 kilogram of air at 40 degrees Celsius. it can contain a 49 gram of a water vapor. Simply 1 kilogram of a air, 1 kilogram of a air at a 40 degrees Celsius, it can contain a 49 gram of a water vapor. Okay, if temperature is decreased, they have given the temperature is decreased. If temperature is 20 degree, at that time we can say that instead of 49 degree, so 49 gram, they are only 14.7 gram of water vapor contained per kilogram of air. Its temperature is decreased. Temperature is decreased means the capacity of containing water vapor of a unit mass of the air is decreased. They cannot contain more mass of a water vapor in that air. So that we can easily see that there is a certain amount of water vapor is contained in air. Okay, certain amount of water vapor, certain mass of a water vapor is contained in air, and it depends upon the temperature. If temperature is larger, it can contain more amount of water vapor in the air. If temperature is decreased, it can't hold that much amount of, that means bigger amount of water vapor in the air. So in further they have told us that if the vapor is contained in air is less than maximum limit, then the air is said to be unsaturated. If vapor is contained in the air less than the maximum limit, it is less than the maximum limit, then we can say the holding capacity of a air, of a water vapor is less than the maximum limit, then we can say that this air is unsaturated. It is not saturated up till now. When adding water vapors, it became saturated at a particular temperature. The saturation of air depends upon temperature. Same amount of mass is there, but a different temperature, and they can sustain different mass of mass of water vapor. Water vapors are there. Okay, so dew point is there. They have told us, suppose unsaturated air at a certain temperature. We have taken air that is unsaturated at a particular temperature. Okay, if we decrease the temperature, then this unsaturated air becomes saturated. This unsaturated air becomes saturated. This unsaturated air is saturated. They have told us a temperature is reached at which air becomes saturated. Okay, with a vapor, and this temperature is called a dew point of a temperature. Dew point of a temperature is such a temperature that we have taken air. This is unsaturated air of a unit mass at a particular temperature, but temperature is decreased. If temperature is decreased, after that at a particular temperature at which the air becomes saturated. What we have to see here is a transition between unsaturated air to saturated air. Transition of unsaturated air to saturated air. Why the saturation period happened there? This situation happened there because there is a decrease in temperature. Temperature lowers so that the capacity of holding the water vapor is also decreases, and at a particular temperature, for unit mass of a water vapor, for a unit volume of air, it contains, and this is nothing but the dew point of a dew point of a temperature. I think you have heard those things. Dew point is the temperature. Dew point is the temperature at which the air is saturated at a particular temperature. Okay? At particular volume and the amount of water vapor is there. After that, absolute humidity. Absolute humidity. Okay? The mass of vapor present in air, present in unit volume of air. The mass of water vapor present in unit mass of a volume of a air is called absolute humidity. It's called absolute humidity. The mass of vapor present in unit volume of air. Mass of vapor is present in unit volume of air, and this is called absolute humidity. Absolute humidity. That means there is no comparison. How much amount of mass of water vapor present in unit volume of air. Unit volume of air, how much amount of mass of a water vapor is present, and this is nothing but absolute humidity. After that, relative humidity. Relative humidity is the stage where at a particular temperature, unsaturated air, to saturate this air, how much amount of mass of water vapor is needed. Okay? At a particular temperature of an unsaturated air, how much amount of water vapor is needed to saturate this air at a particular temperature, and this is called relative humidity. Relative humidity is the actual mass of water vapor contained in air in a given volume. Actual amount of water vapor contained in a unit volume or a given volume to mass of vapor needed to make the air saturated at that value. At particular volume, how much amount of water vapor is actually needed to saturate this air. Okay? And the numerator is actual amount of water vapor, actual amount of mass of water vapor is present at a unit volume, to the amount of mass of a water vapor is needed to saturate that air of a unit volume, and it is called a relative humidity. Okay? So we have seen humidity, we have also seen absolute humidity, that means actual mass present, and the relative. Relative means how much amount of water vapor, mass of water vapor is needed to saturate this air of a unit volume. Okay? After that, we have to see the units of heat. There are two in SI system. They have given that the units of heat in SI system, the unit of heat are joule. SI system, unit of heat. Is joule. Okay? And also in CGS system, it is calorie. That is in abbreviated form CAL. So unit of heat, SI system, joule, it is represented by capital J, and CGS system, the unit is calorie, and it is represented by CAL, calorie. 1000 calorie, that is equal to 1 kilocalorie. Okay, 1 kilocalorie. So we have to see the definition regarding with it. The definition of a they have given the definition of a 1 calorie and 1 kilocalorie. 1 calorie, okay, 1 calorie and 1 kilocalorie. We have to discuss those things. Okay, 1 calorie, how much amount of heat? So they have given that the amount of heat is necessary to raise the temperature of a 1 gram of water. The amount of heat is needed to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water from 14 point to 1 degree Celsius. To raise the temperature of 1 gram of water to 1 degree Celsius from 14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degrees Celsius, and it is called 1 calorie of heat. 1 calorie of heat. Okay, the amount of heat energy is required to raise the temperature of a water from to 1 degree Celsius of a 1 gram of a water from a 14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degrees Celsius, and this energy energy is called 1 calorie. This is called 1 calorie. Okay, once again I once again revise it. The amount of heat is necessary to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water to 1 degree Celsius from 14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degrees Celsius, and it is called 1 calorie of heat. Same thing, 1 kilocalorie. 1 kilocalorie is the amount of heat is required to raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of water. Okay, instead of 1 gram, 1 kilogram. To raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of water to 1 degree Celsius from 14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degrees Celsius, and it is called 1 kilocalorie. The heat is called 1 kilocalorie of heat. Okay, so in this way there are units of a 1 calorie and 1 kilocalorie is there. The specific heat capacity is another topic. I think this period is quite lengthy, so I will discuss the specific heat capacity and something, the energy. There is another in heat exchange concept in the next lecture. I just stop here and we will discuss those things in the next lesson.